How can Chioma, a very bright and intelligent student who at first said no to all who asked her out to be in an intimate relationship with her in school because of her beauty and intelligence, and also to her mathematics teacher Mr. Daniel, suddenly enjoy doing the unimaginable with Mr. Daniel and now pregnant for him? The story begins in the lively hall of Bright Future Academy, a prestigious secondary school known for its academic excellence and disciplined students. Among the students taking their mathematics test on that fateful day in that hall was Chioma, a bright, intelligent girl known for her excellent and true beauty. There was also their mathematics teacher, Mr. Daniel, who was supervising the mathematics test going on in the school hall. Chioma's beauty was one in a million, and everyone in the school happened to admire her for that and tried countless times to have her in their life. Mr. Daniel, who have on many occasions tried convincing Chioma to have a thing with him and been turned down by her countless times, suddenly comes up with a perfect plan that broke through Chioma and made him have his way with her. Chioma was the top student in their class and usually comes first in class academically because she does all things academically within her reach. Mr. Daniel, knowing this about Chioma, now thought to himself that only if he can threaten her of tampering with her mathematics test score and probably that of her exams too would make her have a rethink of him and give in to his demand of intimacy with her. The given time for the mathematics test was over, and all the students in the hall were asked to submit their test scripts by Mr. Daniel. All the students started submitting one after another until it got to Chioma's turn to submit hers, but she was asked by Mr. Daniel to wait back with her test script. After collecting all the rest of the students' test scripts and dismissing them all from the hall except for Chioma waiting to submit hers, he turned to her and spoke with a calm and low voice to her. Chioma, there is only one way for you to be able to submit your mathematics test script to me and get the score being recorded for you. This also goes with your mathematics exams as well. If only you accept having a thing with me and doing the unimaginable with me, then I will collect your mathematics test script from you and mark and record your scores for you. I will also make sure you score well in mathematics generally so that you can be able to secure your first spot academically in your class. But if you refuse, then I wouldn't collect your mathematics test script from you and will also make you fail woefully in mathematics, and that will definitely affect you. So you see, help me and I will help you. On hearing this, Chioma was shocked and very confused on what to do. If she say no this time, she would definitely fail in her mathematics, and that wouldn't be of help to her. But what if she say yes to having an affair with her mathematics teacher? Then she can do well in mathematics and be able to come out first as usual in her class academically. She looked Mr. Daniel devastated and said out of no other option that she would do it, but just once. Mr. Daniel accepted and collected her mathematics test script from her and told her to meet up with him later in the day at his house and gave her his house address but warned her never to let anyone know about it. Later that day, Chioma told her parents that she was going to her friend's place for them to study together and went to Mr. Daniel, her mathematics teacher house. Mr. Daniel, on seeing Chioma, showed up at his place truly, welcomed her to his house well and gave her drink to welcome her to his place. Mr. Daniel was very happy as he stares at her beauty as she drinks the drink he has offered her. Chioma, after finishing her drink and having meal being prepared by Mr. Daniel, said she is ready and that it will be only that day she will do the unimaginable with him. He agreed to what she said and took her to the bedroom and they did the unimaginable. Mr. Daniel was very slow and careful with her as they do the unimaginable together and make it very passionate that he enjoyed it and Chioma too enjoyed it as they do it. After doing the unimaginable, he got up and head back to the living room while Chioma went in the bathroom to have her bath and join him in the living room. Mr. Daniel was filled with joy and satisfaction after doing the unimaginable with Chioma. Chioma, though being her first time doing the unimaginable with a man, was also filled with joy. Of course, she enjoyed how he did his magic on the bed with her. They had a brief chat, and after that, Chioma heads back home. Chioma couldn't sleep that night as she thought of what she had done with Mr. Daniel and how he made her feel that day while they did it. Chioma, who at first never wanted anything related to that and only accepted doing it that once with him just for her to get her mathematics mark and be able to come out first as usual in her class, was now caught up with the mixed feeling attached to doing the unimaginable with a man, and wishes of having that feeling again with him some other time. But how can she approach Mr. Daniel and tell him that she would like them to do it again? Mr. Daniel also couldn't sleep that night as he was awake all through thinking how Chioma would see him after that day in school and how she would behave towards him thereafter. But he enjoyed doing it with her and would love to do it again with her. But how can he approach Chioma again and tell her that he would like them to do it again? The following day, Chioma prepared and went to school happily. On reaching school, she put on a unique and pleasant smile on her face as she couldn't get the feeling off her mind and headed for her class. Before she could reach her class, she signed Mr. Daniel and went and greeted him with a smile of approval all over her face. On seeing how she looked at him while greeting him, Mr. Daniel felt alive again as if a heavy weight had been lifted off him. The thought of everything would never be normal between them again weighed heavily on Mr. Daniel all through the night after Chioma left his place. So on seeing her smiling and greeting him shows she was okay with what they did, and this made Mr. Daniel happy knowing he could convince her again to come to his place some other time for they to do the unimaginable again. After some days passed, Mr. Daniel asked Chioma to see him after the close of school before going home. After the close of school that day, she went to see him truly, and they had a discussion. Their discussion was centered on the feeling of what they did the other time and meeting up again at Mr. Daniel's place and doing the unimaginable again. They both agree on the day they would meet and draw their discussion to a close, and Chioma heads home. On that fateful day they agreed on seeing each other. Chioma told her parents she would be going to her friend's house to study and went to Mr. Daniel's house. On getting there, Mr. Daniel welcomed her and offered her food and drinks. They ate together, and after that, head straight up to the bedroom. On reaching the bedroom, they started having the moment together. After having the moment with themselves, they head over to the bed and start doing the unimaginable. This time around, it wasn't the first time for any of them doing it again, so they did it for a longer period and in a more fun manner. The atmosphere in there was filled with a loud sound expressing how they were feeling about each other as they were doing the unimaginable. This time around, it was more fun and enjoyable as they spiced it up the best way they could. After they both reached their satisfaction point, they got out of the bed, went in the bathroom together and had their bath and head back to the living room. After a while having some discussion, Chioma left for her home. Things became serious in between Mr. Daniel and Chioma and became a normal and usual thing for Chioma, always making excuse of going to her friend's house for studies and going to Mr. Daniel's house and doing the unimaginable with each other as they please. This went on between them for a while until something unexpected and unplanned happened along the line on the last day of Chioma writing her final exam paper of her secondary school certificate that exposed their affairs and created a big mess for them both. After successfully finishing her final exam that day, Chioma as usual went to Mr. Daniel's house to celebrate, and the unimaginable must be done by both of them before she would leave. They had meal and drinks together to celebrate her, and as usual heads to the bedroom straight up after that. On getting to the bedroom, they started having the moment together, and doing all manner of things to put each other on fully for doing the unimaginable. They became fully turned on and ready for doing the unimaginable. As Mr. Daniel drew out his bed drawer to get a protection to put on before doing the unimaginable, he couldn't find anyone in there. Fully turned on and couldn't hold back anymore from doing it, he did the unimaginable without a protection with her. Chioma felt the difference this time around as they did the unimaginable without a protection but never stopped him as the feeling was so good and enjoying. They enjoyed doing the unimaginable without using a protection and both reached their satisfaction point together. Weeks on, Chioma started feeling odd and strange and looked sick. Her parents noticed this and insisted on taking her to the hospital for a medical checkup. They evidently got to the hospital and had her examined by the doctor, and some tests were carried out by the doctor to be sure of what was wrong with her. Chioma, none the parents, expected what the results of the tests being carried out on her confirmed. After a while at the hospital that day, the doctor called Chioma alongside her parents to his office to have a private conversation with them. At the doctor's office, the results of the test were handed over to Chioma's parents. According to the results, nothing was wrong with her in terms of illness, but she was confirmed pregnant by the pregnancy test being carried out alongside the other test. At this point, the doctor advises Chioma's parents to go home and have a proper discussion with their daughter Chioma and decide on what's best for her. On hearing this, Chioma was immediately frozen for a while and completely devastated. Where do she start from in explaining that she actually got pregnant for her mathematics teacher Mr. Daniel? And what becomes of her academically and socially? How will her friends see her? Tears rolls down her eyes as she thinks about all this. On getting home from the hospital, Chioma's parents demanded of her to tell them who is responsible for her pregnancy and how it happened. With tears rolling down from her eyes knowing she has disappointed and brought disgrace and shame to her parents, Chioma narrated how it all started with her and her mathematics teacher Mr. Daniel, who threatened to fail her woefully in mathematics and make her drop in performance academically if she refused having an affair with him. She also told her parents of how she lied to them about going to her friend's place for studies, but instead go to Mr. Daniel's house and doing the unimaginable thing with him. She also told them of how she only agreed on doing it once with him only, but got caught up in the moment and feeling and went on doing it with him over and over again. It all ended up for Chioma and Mr. Daniel in a way they never expected or imagined. Chioma waited almost 2 years after finishing her secondary school level to give birth and take of the baby to an extent before leaving the baby in the care of her parents and going to the university to further her education, hoping she had learnt her lessons. Mr. Daniel, on the other hand, was reported to the school authority and lost his job as a teacher in Bright Future Academy, and also arrested and served in prison for a while for misconduct, and later released from prison to pick up his life from where he stopped, hoping he has learnt his lessons.